Hey guys, so I'm going to talk about the synthesis and say it all approaches and how they differ. So, say it all approach is when we say everything word by word in English. So, we keep the form of English and gloss English words for each sign. And as we know, we are trying to avoid this in our interpretations. So, they also call it a tendency to say what they have said, exactly word for word. It does sound unnatural, and when you're working simultaneously, it is causes extra challenges because if you're right on top of the word, you will fall behind or not produce meaning, which is what we are striving to do. So I'm going to use an example that I actually struggled with my first interpretation. I'm going to go through synthesis really quick and then show you the difference between this one term that I struggled with. So synthesis approach, especially in Moody, talked about how not all the words need to be expressed, and we can compress or we can expand to show the meaning. And meaning is everything: visual expansion to describe what it looks like. Um, and you want to take everything from the source language and compress or expand it into the target message by giving it the equivalent of what the meaning is. So, for an example, I had a term called, or stated, behavior influences behavior, which is a key term for a CPI class, which is basically about behaviors that the school district gives every staff member that works in integrated services, special ed. And it's all about behaviors and preventing behaviors before it leads to a physical hold. And then they do go through holds, but that's the last resort. And we don't do a lot of holds because students are strong and it's unsafe. And so it's all about managing the behaviors effectively before it gets to that point. So their main topic or slogan is behavior influences behavior. So I spelled that out and I even signed, which is very English, and that's I can relate that to the say it all approach because it's exactly word for word. It doesn't give meaning. I chose the controlled choice to do that because it is their slogan. And what I failed to do, because that was repeated and repeated, and I didn't know that in the presentation, I did try to incorporate some expansions as the presentation went along. So compared to a synthesis approach would be to expand on that and to give more examples. So for example, if a student gets off the bus in the morning and is angry and mad and just not happy about the day, and the teacher sees that, and then their behavior, the student's behavior influences their behavior. So they instantly get into a bad mood and just sad and mad also, then the whole day is going to be ineffective and not a lot of learning is going to happen because the teacher got influenced by the negative behavior by the student. So we can't take things personally. You know, if they're swearing or mad, it's really hard not to take it personally, but I just have to remember that you never know what's going on in their life, what happened that morning. Maybe they didn't eat breakfast, maybe they didn't get the medication, maybe they're fighting with their siblings. You never know. So in those cases, you know, they get off the bus and they're angry, a teacher's approach could be, you know, try to make that positive, you know, try to give them something that they can work for that makes them happy, a positive reinforcement, and encouraging them to have a better day and not being influenced by that negative behavior and taking that and making it positive. So changing their feelings. So that's what I struggled with because that's a lot of information. And when he says behavior influences behavior very quickly, it doesn't give me a lot of time to expand on that. But knowing the meaning, and I was able to incorporate a little bit of that in later on the presentation. But if anyone has any other suggestions, I'm really open to learning more about this as it was a term that I struggled with. Thanks.